Back over to David Poulter. He's joined by a couple of political journalists on College Green. David.
I am indeed, Gordon. Let me introduce them to you, Jennifer McKeon and James Cusack. James, I'll begin with you first of all. Cabinet meeting this afternoon, likely to be a long, perhaps fairly rumbustious event. Do you think she can get it through the Cabinet?
I think she'll get it through the Cabinet with relative ease. But the most important thing is we shouldn't judge, the full battle, the full war, just because she gets it through the Cabinet. The problem is that building is still going to make the final decision, and then we've got a summit in November. She has to get through that, and it will come back somewhere before Christmas. And that's the most important thing. So I think while we're discussing something that looks like crucial and important today, this is just one hurdle that she overcomes, and there's no guarantee that that's it.
So as far as getting it through, it's the beginning of the end type.
The beginning of the beginning, or what? You're going to confuse me, David, but it is that. This is just one skirmish and a fairly battle. Lots of blood still to come, I think.
Jennifer, it is a point, isn't it, that it's one thing getting it through Cabinet, but there are lots of MPs on either side of the argument who seem less than impressed by what is being put together.
Yes, and obviously that has changed quite dramatically today as well. When you look at the palpable tension in the House of Commons during PMQs today, Peter Bone, who was only 2 weeks ago hailing Theresa May as the Queen of Brexit and saying that he wanted to put up statues to her, is now saying everything's going terribly, terribly wrong. He was groaned at by his fellow Tory colleagues, but I think that gives some indication of how quickly the tables are turning.
If she was not to be able to get it through the House of Commons, that would be curtains for her, wouldn't it?
Yes, I believe so.
Absolutely. I mean, I think what we're seeing at the moment, so an MP described the atmosphere today and the games that are going to be played over the next couple of days, weeks, as the Hunger Games. I mean, he talked about it as brutal as that. So I think Theresa May has this problem. She believes that she can sell a deal that keeps Britain both in the EU and out at the same time. And to be honest, that isn't going to be possible. And if she can't do that, then her days in number 10 are finished. And it could be before the 25th, the November 25th summit, because I think somebody said there'll be a lot of Tories who simply will not wish to gift Theresa May that amount of time. Because during that period, an outbreak of pragmatism, and nobody wants to gift her that. So I think it could be blood in the streets before then.
Jennifer, let's look specifically in a Scottish context. The 13 Scottish Tory MPs, including the Secretary of State for Scotland, in her own cabinet, writing to her today to say, don't sell fishing down the river.
Yeah, I mean, they've made themselves clear, so clear over such a long time. This is an absolutely totemic issue for Scotland. It's absolutely fundamental for the Scottish Tories. When you look at people like David Jiggott, with his constituency in Banffenbucken, that is basically the heart of fishing in the UK, in Scotland, it's kind of unbelievable, really, that Theresa May thinks that she could potentially put them in a position where they won't be able to back her.
James, you don't have to be an expert on history or an expert on fishing, but it is pretty unprecedented, isn't it, when backbenchers are writing to their own Prime Minister with the signature of the Scottish Secretary there as well, saying, be careful what you do here.
Yeah, I think it's not just this one issue of fishing. This is almost a kind of signature of how difficult this whole process is. Okay, so Scottish MPs are worried about fishing. There's an entire range, factions all over this, each of them worried about their own thing. The idea that Theresa May can sell this as a uniform package where everybody's going to be on board and everybody's going to accept it, I think this is difficult. She's had 2 years to do this. The idea that all of a sudden there's a minor breakout over fisheries is slightly laughable. This should have been done and dusted.
Going on to Northern Ireland, if there is a different deal for Northern Ireland than the rest of the UK, a more preferential deal,
yes,
that is a gift to Nicola Sturgeon, isn't it?
An absolute gift. And Leo Varadkar has said, this afternoon that the backstop means a backstop. It's not something you can move away from. So this isn't temporary. This isn't about something that's just going to get the government over the transition period. This is something permanent. And if it is permanent, then all of a sudden the rest of the UK is not uniform. And if it's not uniform, the SNP take advantage.
Jennifer, if Northern Ireland gets a better deal, it is hard to see how they can try and sell this in Scotland, isn't it?
Precisely. I mean, this is the one issue that we saw Ruth Davidson and David Mundell both threaten to resign over. She's in serious trouble if we can't get Northern Ireland to maintain the same kind of consistency as the rest of the UK.
Jennifer and James, thank you very much. I'll let you go and file your copy now. Somehow I think that might be rewritten a few times in the next 24 hours. Gordon, for the time being, back to you.